My previous training is Columbia College.
So you have a degree in...
I have worked with Paul Carter Harrison, James Englehart. I have extensive training. I performed in New York City in the Henry Street Settlement in a show called Shango Diaspora back in I think Shango was done back in the late 80s. I did a show I went on the road with a show called Passenger Past Midnight. I played Malcolm X, Steve Biko, Marvin Gaye, different people in my earlier years.
Do you sing?
I don't consider myself a singer. But when I was doing the Marvin Gaye show, we were doing this, Marvin Gaye is known to have had two personalities. And one gentleman, friend of mine, Kevin McElvain, who just had a performance here, concert last night. He played Marvin Gaye in singing flashbacks because the whole piece was a memory piece. And I played Marvin Gaye, the neurotic. And, we did that for a number of years. I was in a show called Ain't Supposed to Die a Natural Death, written by Melvin Van Peebles, and which was very challenging because it was just extreme. Melvin Van Peebles is a very extreme writer, and it was directed by Bee Wynn, who was one of the featured actresses in the original film Sparkle. And incidentally, I played Walter Lee to her mama in a NBC series called Black Life back in the 70s.
What is the most gratifying thing that you get from teaching acting?
The most gratifying thing that I get from teaching acting is supporting students, to really helping you find your way through a character and understand who your character is, and just really understanding the process of the theater and of character development, because that's very important. You have to understand how to approach a character and to realize that the character is not you, that is somebody specific that the writer wrote about. The writers don't know us. A lot of people when doing plays, they complain that, oh, this costume is not me. The costume is not you. And giving the costume designer grief, because the costume is a reflection of the character. Costumers have to, just like set designers, know the play and know, they are part of the process just like the actors are. They have to find the character and understand what works for that character and how that character should look. If you're in a Dickens play, you can't dress like you're in a restoration comedy. I like steering you all to in the direction of looking at your own selves, and to realize that you have to be open, you have to be free, you have to be honest with yourself in order to take on the characteristics of another spirit. You cannot play you, although it's your body. You have to give of yourself, you have to give your body to the process, to the character that you're portraying. And you have to really be very observant of the things that you do in your life, the things that people do around you. I can't express that more, to be observant of human behavior. You got to be honest with yourself. We can't be always polite and show the little parts of ourselves that we like. You have to show your ugly side also. You have to show your hostile side, your selfish side. None of us are sweet little lambs. I don't care how we like to, when we look in that mirror in the morning, you see what you want to see, but the people around us see us. And so you have to accept yourself, warts and all. And until you can do that, you can never really be a good actor. Because if you can't see yourself and be real with yourself, everything you do will be fake on stage. Because you're not allowing yourself to live organically and to allow yourself to express yourself authentically
How did you get into acting, into drama?
My mother was a dancer. My father was a tenor saxophone player, so I was always around stages and things and rehearsal halls. And when I was a teenager, my father introduced me to Oscar Brown Jr. And Oscar Brown Jr. introduced me to ETA Creative Arts Foundation. And I actually came here. I was in Okoro Harold Johnson's class. And he said, just go over there and tell them that I sent you. And I literally, and the workshops were on 62 at the Harris Y, 6200 South Drexel, and I literally knocked on the door. And I'm like, are you Mr. Johnson? Oscar Brown Jr. sent me. And Oscar Brown Jr. had been known to do a lot of work with, kids in the community and all of those, and he was a great artist. And he's written a lot of music and he's done a lot of classic. I encourage you all to just Google him. And but he, was a brilliant entertainer, and he was definitely my role model and mentor. And I just, then I loved it. I discovered that because I was really a shy person, and the theater really opened the door for me. Because I was able to, I liked, being a chameleon, and that really helped me to bring out my own personality more.
What made you decide to switch from full-time actor to teaching?
Because I was selective about the roles I played. Chuck Smith originally cast me in a play called My Sweet Charlie, and they were doing it at Governor State University. And it was a great, they made a television movie of it with Al Freeman Jr. But at the time, it was a period when I just did not want to play a character who died over a white girl. And a lot of, I said, the friends, friends, female friends, I just didn't want to be the black guy in a show that died over a white girl. And so that sort of, the word got out that I was really picky about things. I didn't want to play any corrupt cops. I didn't want to play any pimps. And so I said, if you do something, I wanted to play somebody who's full-bodied and not a stereotype. And so that was the end of that. That's why, because if you don't do one thing, you want to go about helping and assisting other people.
Thank you.
What has been the most challenging character you ever had to play?
Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye was the hardest thing to do after the show. I could never snap out of it. There's a whole horror story about opening night. I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't listen to Marvin Gaye music. I couldn't do it. I was real young, and I was half the size that I am, and my beard, of course, is black. But that was the most challenging thing. And then I do a lot of children's theater now. I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm never going to act again, because I love acting. I love performing. But why don't you ask me something that's related to your experience? That's why I agreed to do it.
Where would you recommend, besides ETA, as African Americans, actors here in the city, where would you recommend we go?
Columbia College is good. Columbia College is good. I really don't, because these places that we go to, you don't know how sincere they are, because they're just people who want black behinds in their chairs so they could pay their mortgage. That's a hard call for me, because I'm sincere, but I don't know if anybody, I don't know.
So in terms of training, you mean in terms of? Okay.
I think that's a thing that you have to decide upon. You have to Google the places and, have an experience, go and have a site visit and see, because people generally feel what they need to do, you really have some sense of where you should be and where you shouldn't be. The thing that I like about this is that it comes from a black perspective. It comes from, the black part of life, because the one thing that I object to in colleges is that white people don't see us as having theater, as, having a body of work or having movies. There's some wonderful black films that were not ever produced that you don't really see a lot of. Turner Classic Films, sometimes in the last few weeks, there's a movie called Hallelujah, which is a black love story, and I think it's made in the late 1920s or the early 30s. But I've actually seen a black silent movie. We don't, because of the racism of the country, a lot of the black stuff has been locked in, in the archives, and hopefully, never to be seen again from their point of view. But every now and then, something will seep out. Actresses like Dorothy Dandridge never. And I went to a conversation at the DeSable Museum over the Saturday with Delroy Lindo. And he was describing it's still very hard for black actors to get good quality work. And it's really hard for all black, but with women it's particularly hard. Women very seldom get a choice three-dimensional characters to play. You're always somebody's girlfriend or a tramp or something, but it's never an opportunity to really play full-body roles, the kind that would go to people like Meryl Streep, and every now and then you have one black actress a year. Like right now, Viola Davis is the flavor of the month, But it's not like all those incredibly talented black actresses are not, getting work. But that's, to his credit, I give that to Tyler Perry for at least opening the door and allowing people like Cicely Tyson, and actors who haven't worked in years to get work. Diane Carroll. So the thing is, and my advice to everybody is to just believe in yourself and continue to work and do all kinds of roles that you could find and go out on auditions and make it happen for yourselves. Because everybody, we have to really live where we are. Because teaching you guys is a wonderful, I'm very excited about that. I love you. I love what I do. Because I don't think that we should do things that we don't love. We shouldn't be around people that make us feel uncomfortable. You should never be in a circumstance that puts a cloud over your head. And so I'm really working from my heart to get you all to a point where you can go out on auditions and really feel comfortable and know that you're delivering something. That you have just as much confidence and talent as the person sitting next to you. You have to do that. And I think that's what classes are supposed to do, to prepare you for the world. And then you have to take over and do the rest of the work. So thank you.